this video, I'm going to break down how I helped Denzel go from 2K a month before working with me to cash collecting $20,700 in just 5 weeks' time. And let me show you some proof before I dive into it. We started working together on the 1st of December, actually. So on our third week of December, we actually had a 8.5K week, followed up by the first week of Jan, where we actually had two 5K pips, which brought us up to a 10K week, right? And then following that, on the 10th of Jan, we got a 2.2K for a 3 months program. So in total, that brought us up to $20,700 cash collected in just 5 weeks' time. And I want to go through more in depth on like what are the steps that we took and how I basically just helped Denzel solve a lot of his bottlenecks in the business and really be able to scale up to this level of success in his online fitness coaching business. So let's dive right into it. The first thing that we did was making sure that he had content clarity going forward. Because one of the main problems that he faced when he came to me was the fact that he did not have a clear idea on what he was posting. He's waking up not knowing what to post, what ideas to talk about, and what are the exact things that he's going to want to do, or how does he want to plan out his day so that he can actually put in the effort or actually just sit down and start making real. So that was one of the main things that we talked about a lot, was that he needed some structure. He needed an actual game plan when it comes to posting content and what I call your core content angles. These are the content angles that you want to always hammer down on your page just multiple times, because this is the core part of your messaging. It's a core part of what people follow you for. And it's just finding what works, right? Finding what kind of reels just popped off, right? It really got a lot of traction for us because it just shows that there is a place in the market for these specific ideas, right? There's a reason why it blows up. And we don't use any fancy editing or whatnot. So we understand that if a video does blow up, a big reason for that is because of his idea, right? The ideas is what carries a reel almost of the time. Pair that with a good storytelling pacing, right? You know, you have energy, you have the tonality behind the words that you're saying, right? This was what gave him so much more clarity, and he does not need to, wake up trying to think of a totally new angle that he has to post just to, wow the audience, just to have a very hot take on things, right? It doesn't always have to be that way. And when you are in that mode of just always wanting to find new things and trying to be very creative all the time, it's going to drain you out, especially for Denzel when he has been making content constantly for years on end. It is very draining for him, right? So it is no wonder that he had a really bad month and he just really couldn't generate any leads when he came to me. So just to show you an example for him, right? These four reels here, these are reels that, again, these are proven concept. These are things that we found works for his audience, and this is what people want to see more of. So this is the thing that I want to go talk about it. You need to double down on your winners, right? Double down on the winners. There is no need to overcomplicate contents, because you just need to understand that when it comes to introducing a new concept for people or just sharing an idea in general to your new followers, right? The new traffic coming into your page, it will just go past your head, right? Now you're going from one ear and out the other, because it takes time. It takes time to comprehend the concept that Denzel is talking about. It takes time to absorb it and be able to just relate it back to their own experiences. Or this is something that I've actually experienced before. And I'll give you a good example. If I tell you to look around your room right now and I tell you to find the color red, right? You take a moment, you take 10, 20 seconds, you go look around the room, you can find, say, like 5 things that are red in color. But I do not ask you how many items did you find that were in red color. I asked you how many items you find that were in blue color. Now, if I would ask you that question, you wouldn't know the answer because you're not even actively looking at or paying attention to the blue color. So that is how I view just content in general, is that they're not actively looking for something. So when they first interact with a content piece, they're not gonna fully comprehend and understand what Denzel is trying to convey to them, right? It might wow them. It might be like, oh shit, man, this is such a cool concept. Oh, you're so right on this. But in terms of the comprehension and really be able to absorb it, it takes time, man. Like, it takes repetition. A lot of times our content is aimed to just remind them of the things that they're going through, the struggles that they're going through, even in different approaches, right? We are talking about the same core idea, but we're just attacking in different angles. And I'll give you an example, right? This is a really great one. Why I am bulletproof to cravings. This is something that Denzel himself has struggled a lot with, and he has went through so much mindset shift and just a different perspective on how he now deals with cravings. So this was the reel that really blew up for us. And look at his content, man. Right, why I'm bulletproof to cravings. That's one. How I became bulletproof to cravings. Those are two reels, for example, right? Where Denzel literally just posts it once and he posts another reel and he posts it again. Right, and it's okay. Again, we are trying to remind them on how they can deal with this problem, right? And that's the main thing about fitness coaching is you just need to really be able to solve a problem for them. And I'll give you another example. The real reason you are not lean. This is basically his main messaging, right? I take average physics into elite lean bodies. So this falls under the umbrella of what our personal brand, what his personal brand is about. So it is okay to repeat things. It's okay to even use the same hook. Okay, I can tell you this reel here, 86.4K, right? Is this reel here? Look at this. We are also doing the same thing here. The actual reason you're not lean, right? We just changed one word in the headline. I can tell you for a fact that the hook is so similar. The first like 8 words that he uses is the same. And it still worked because now he's targeting in a different angle, right? The things that he's talking about on the actual body is going to be slightly different from the original reel. And worst case, even if you do copy and paste your reels, let's say they are a month apart or 2 months apart, it's still okay because now you're introducing this concept to your new traffic of people, right? And they deserve to know that. So those are just a few examples. And you just double down on the core content angles that works. And you don't have to think too much on in terms of content because it all falls under this umbrella of content that you're making. And it just simplifies a lot of things. And with all of those kind of extra mental bandwidth that I've helped Denzel unlock, he can try new concepts, really try new concepts, make more long form videos that would, in the long run, just help his business out so much. Pair that out with just having a time block, right? I always tell him that he should have a time block on actually making short form content or actually making just YouTube content. No distractions at all, where you just sit down and you just record down in videos, right? So that is also very helpful for you if that's not what you're doing right now. But that's the main thing about content, right? Is really understanding what your core content angle is and also just doubling down on the winners. Doesn't have to be too overcomplicated, right? And I guess if you don't have your core content angle, which shouldn't be the case because those are things that you need to understand very early on because through your market research, those are things that you should at least have a very good idea on what their problems they're facing and whatnot. So if you do need help with that, I would suggest just really doing a proper deep dive on market research so that you just have a lot more clarity on what to talk about that people actually care about. That's the main thing. Like you need to give a reason for people to care about why they should listen to you and how this reel will be able to impact them or help them out. So that's the main thing about content, right? Just giving him more content clarity. The next pillar I want to talk about is the DM setting side of things. The thing about DM setting, okay, it's very important that even you understand this as a fitness coach yourself. Fitness coaching is a relationship service based business, right? This is something you need to remember by heart and really embody that. People don't buy because of the knowledge you have. They don't really care about the 3 tips and tricks you can help them with their bench form or 3 exercises that you can do in the gym that will help you do this or do that. People don't care about that anymore. And I'm sure going into 2026, I'm sure a lot of people have realized that that is not how you want to make fitness content anymore because people just are overloaded with the information on what to do, right? Telling them what to do in the gym, giving them hacks, giving them shortcuts, right? Just blasting them with too much information. That's why this year, okay, in 2026 especially, you need to just go all in on your personal brand. Your fitness coaching is pretty much your personal brand. Think about it. That is the best way to explain it. Is you want to attract people to you and to like you as a person. You need to have that unlock first for them to consider getting coaching from you, let alone pay you thousands, right? High ticket. We are selling 5K packages. We're selling 3K packages, right? If you don't have someone just to like and know and trust you that deeply, there is no way that they will pay you money, okay? There's just no way around it because you're just like commodity. They do not know you as a person. With that being said, when it comes to facilitating this genuine connection that you want to build with your audience, the best way you can do that in the DMs is what I've utilized with Denzel, and I don't see any other fitness coach really talk about it, or even like business mentors. Nobody talks about this, and I want you to understand this because this is going to change the quality of the conversations that you have with your audience, and it's going to get them to open up to you so much more. The things that people will tell you in the DMs, once you just ask better questions and you have better energy in the way you ask people things. And the reason why I say energy is because if you realize here, these are voice message. This is my arsenal of voice message templates that I've curated with Denzo, okay, to specifically handle objections that we get, like very similar objections that we always get across the board with his audience. Those are things that we want to have a voice message on because it is so common to get someone who says, "Oh, I'm being very inconsistent with my diet. I don't know what to do," or "Oh, I struggle with being consistent with my diet." Now, if we have a voice message that helps them shift their mindset, it's about really saying it in a way where it's you, right? That is how you would explain a limiting beliefs to them and just help them shift past that limiting beliefs, right? Something that Denzel really likes to say is you can't be consistent on something that you're inconsistent on. It's just sounds so profound, right? Especially when it comes from a coach, which has the authority. When you're able to inject not just authority, but also energy, but also actual helpful advice to people in the DMs, do you know how much more nurtured they are before they book in a call with you? The main difference that I've seen from implementing the voice message templates, right? Having so many different scenarios that we have voice messages on to just handle all the objections people have or just shift their limiting beliefs. The main difference is the fact that people actually come into our call not as a sales call. When we book them in for a call, they don't think it's a sales call. Instead, it is a decision making call for them. And let me explain. It is a decision making call because they already understood from our conversations in the DMs that this call is for them to make. This call is something that will change their life. And this is a call to basically settle the logistics on how they can pay Denzel money to get coaching from him so that their life can change. And a big part of this is also holding them accountable in the DMs, right? Meaning to say you do not want to let any little things slide. If they are downplaying their lack of action, their struggles, right? I'll say, oh, I just need to do this, then I know I'll get this. I just need to, this is a common one. I just need to be consistent. Oh, then I'll get to my goals. Them saying I just need to be consistent, it's like no shit. Okay, like it's no shit. Of course, you just need to be consistent. But when they say it that way, it means that they don't take it that seriously. I just need to be consistent. Okay, but consistency is literally everything about getting fit. It's everything about getting to the goals and the physique of your dreams. And when you lack that part, you're never gonna get to your goals, right? And you have to call them out on that. You have to be just so anchored to the truth that you call them out on their BS. You call them out on their little moments like this where they downplay struggles, right? And you want to give them that motivation in a sense. You want to even explain to them like why they are thinking this way or what are personal experiences that Denzel had, personal thought process that Denzel had before when he was, fat, when he was skinny or when he was a skinny fat, explain to them and telling them, oh, this was what I had. This was what I thought last time. But once I had this mindset shift, once I thought like this, or now I'm able to become consistent. When we're able to give value to them, but at the same time also hold them accountable to their BS and their excuses in life, they will trust us so much more and see us so much more as an authority because we genuinely care about them, right? We are not operating from a place of, oh, I gotta get this guy to book in a call, man. Oh, I gotta book in a call. I don't care if he's qualified or not. It doesn't work that way because you don't want to book everyone in for a call, right? That is not the point. You want to book in people that are not just financially qualified, but also people that you resonate with, people that is reciprocative to feedback, reciprocative to wanting to improve themselves and actually taking our advice seriously in the DMs. Because when they actually do so, when we're on the call, like of course they're gonna listen to Denzel. Of course they're gonna be so much more open-minded and so much more reciprocative to what he has to offer, what he has to say to change their lives. So I don't want to ramble on too much about this, but if you want help, okay, with the DM setting side of things, this is something I'm so passionate about. And I know and I'm confident that I'm great at DM setting because it's just for fitness offers. Okay, I've dedicated my entire like online info space journey to helping fitness coaches. This is something that I'm so passionate about. And my Instagram handle is down below. I want you, if you have a problem with DM setting, either you want a setter or you're doing it yourself and you want help to kind of audit your DMs, hit me up. I would love to help you. I would love to just help my fitness coaches really thrive in this space, like make more consistent income with online fitness coaching because I see an impact. Okay. I see the value that you guys have for the world. And a big part of it is really changing people's lives, right? Really getting them to feel much more confident about themselves and having so much more fulfillment in life. You don't understand how much fitness has been a cornerstone of my own life and how it has changed the way I carry myself, the way I lead the team, right? The way I am in my family, right? The way I can be a better leader, a better son in my family, right? These are things that I'm just so grateful about when it comes to fitness and something that I can really pour my energy into. But I digress. I don't want to talk too much about that for now. So yeah, DM setting, this is one of I would say this is the main part and the most significant part of why we were able to scale from 2K to $20,700 in just 5 weeks time, right? Every conversation we have is so dialed in and people really can see that we care about them, we really want to help them out. And that's why when they book in a call with us, it's gonna be a decision-making call, right? They don't come in with their guard up and trying too much to call with like a lot of objections, right? It's mainly just they understand, okay, I am suffering with a problem. I've talked to Denzel about it in the DMs, right? He has given me enough advice for me to understand that I gotta make a decision here, man. Like this coaching program that he has, if I'm able to commit to this, if I have the financial means, and we can talk about it with Denzel in the call. If I have the financial means, I want to invest in him because I know I'll get to my goals. That is the dynamic you want to have when it comes to your sales calls. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind. But the other thing about what we did was having a bulletproof client fulfillment. Understand this, like sure, it is very cool that we get to have 10K weeks, right? We get to cash collect the $20,000 in a matter of 5 weeks for his fitness coaching business. But you also have to understand as a coach yourself, and because this is a relationship service based business, I want you to really keep this in your heart again, really understand this. Your job doesn't start until they pay you money, right? That's where your job truly starts. You need to get people results. You need to really pay so much attention to them and hold them accountable to their progress, to their physique, and just get them a shit ton of results because it is not just a like morally right thing to do, in my opinion. It's also going to benefit you so much more when it comes to the reputation of your business, right? The reputation of how you can actually coach people into the physique of their dreams. Right? It's so important because when you have a bulletproof client fulfillment, you are able to get results that are just out of this world. And people know, okay, people can tell if a coach actually knows how to coach other people into their physique, or they are just someone who knows how to coach themselves, right? Get themselves to a physique, but they don't know how to get someone else to a dream physique. I would say the main part here is the ability to shift the mindset, ability to hold people accountable in a way where they cannot fall back on any excuses, right? If you're able to say, for example, they tell you they struggle with eating too much calories when they're out with their friends, or they have the tendency to eat just too much calories when they're out on a Sunday night with their boys, with their homies. And when situations like this like comes up, like you as a coach, you have to ask the person which is more important to you. Like questions of this nature, like you have to ask, are your friends going to get you the results that you want? Are they going to uplift you? Are they the type of company that you want to have in your life? Or do you understand the fact that they are not going to care about you. They're not going to be the ones who will uplift you. They're not going to be ones who has your physique, right? Who cares about the goals that you have, right? So you have to make a decision there and then. Like, are you going to cut out those friends or at least cut out the outings with them for you to pursue your own goals? Or are you just gonna continue spiraling down every time you go out with them and you know you're gonna spiral down and you still choose to go out with them? So these are conversations that you wanna have with your clients when they have a struggle like this, right? When they have real life situations like this that they just need more guidance on, they need to have more clarity on. This is a big part of what you want to do when you actually coach people into getting the results that they want, right? But yeah, I digress. So in terms of story sequences, right? That's the main thing I'll talk about. Yes. When you have a crazy client result, client testimonial, you can have so many story CTAs that it's either going to build FOMO for people or it's going to give them that motivation that their dream physique is possible. Right? Because someone else who has a very similar physique to them gotten their dream physique from your coaching because you guided them, you meaning like because Denzel guided them to their goals, right? So when you have a great client transformations, right, people can see and people are inspired to want to do that for themselves, or people feel like they're missing out because everybody else in his program is getting sick results. So why can't they? Why not them? So that's also a big part of why you want to have just such a good client fulfillment system for people. And yeah, on top of that, of course, like referrals, right? That's something that, right, you don't have to do any marketing. People will just refer you to their friends because you've been such a great coach to them. So moving on, in terms of our offer, right? This is also a big lever that we put on for us to get to that goal. And we plan to just have a higher and higher months. So look at this, right? We have a 5K PIF. This is something that Denzel just have never experienced before. Getting a 5K paid in full payment coming through, it makes such a big difference. It really brings in so much cash flow into the business that he can either reinvest into himself or just give him that extra motivation to know that this shit will actually works. Like fitness coaching is so viable. I can really make this a full-time thing. I can even make this like 30K a month. I can make this a full-time business that can not just support myself, but support my family, not having to be troubled with like just food, groceries, going on dates with his partner and whatnot. It's a different feeling when you get a big piece like this. And even our downsell program, right? And the reason why I say downsell is because we don't do 3 months anymore, right? We always pitch a year and 6 months now. And if they truly cannot pay our 1 year or 6 months package, and they show us that they physically can't pay, that's why we'll downsell them into a like 3 months or 4 months program, depending. But this is the thing, our 3 months is 2.2K. And I want to get into this, okay? Going to this and like working with Denso. In this period of time, okay, in this period of 5 weeks, we upped our offer price and introduced a better downsell offer for his coaching program. So when even our lowest tier option is higher than most coaches' like 6 months pay in full, how are we not going to wipe the floor with all the other fitness coaches in the space, man? You have to understand your offer is the easiest lever that you can pull on to force your business to grow and to really get you more cash flow into your business, having more motivation to just want to make more content, get more results of people, just crush it in the calls, right? Just all of the above. And one misconception that I want to talk about is, right, a very common misconception is people thinking, oh, let me just charge higher, right? That will solve my problem. That isn't the case because you have to understand that it isn't about you when it comes to offer, right? You might think, oh, I want to charge 10K for my program. Oh, I deserve to charge 10K because I can change people's lives. Okay, that might very well be true in your eyes, but the main idea here is that you need to have a good understanding of how you are perceived as an authority or as a personal brand or as a person in the lens of your audience, right? Through the eyes of your audience, how are you being perceived? And I'll give you some good examples or like good ways to know. A good way is your comments, right? Are they glazing you in the comment section? Are they giving you a lot of positive feedback? Are they saying a lot of good things about the things you have to share, the concepts, the ideas that you are telling people or sharing to people, right? And another big thing is also your DMs, right? The actual DMs itself, when you have a one-on-one conversation with people, when they message you telling you, by the way, Denzel, I had a really big craving for a pie this afternoon, right? I saw it there and my friends were tempting me to eat it. But I remember I saw your reel earlier, and it just made me understand, and it made me think for myself there and then. Do I really want to eat this pie? Is this really something that is worth me sacrificing my goals for, or taking a step back from the actual physique that I want to have in life? Right. And I thought to myself, and I said, no, it's not worth it. And I just stopped. I didn't accept the offer. I didn't eat it. And I feel so proud. And I want to thank you for sharing that reel, because it really changed the way I look at my cravings. If you can get people to send you DMs like this, of course you're going to be perceived so much higher and just have so much more authority in this general like fitness coaching space, right? People just see you more as authority, as someone who's able to get them results, as someone who just genuinely cares about them and has gone through the problems that they are currently facing. So there's some good ways that you want to have, but again, there's no definite, oh, if I have 10 good comments from people, I can up my price, right? It really depends on a lot of factors, but it's just a way of being conscious of how you're perceived by people, right? That is a good indicator of whether you decide you want to up your price or not, or you want to just stay there. But on top of that, it's also in the tangibles too. So what this means is your actual coaching program, right? Zoom in on the different ways that you can increase that perceived value through better client fulfillment, right? Through a better structure. Can you provide them more support? Can you solve more problems for them? Can you solve bigger problems for them? So these are things that you just want to be more conscious of. And if you think too one dimensionally, when it comes to like your business, right, you're oftentimes actually going to fall flat and just not be able to see the bigger picture. So yeah, those are the four main things that we did work on that just got him to $20,700 in just 5 weeks time. And one last thing I want to talk about is the fact that fitness coaching really isn't as complicated as you think. Okay. A lot of times I see so many coaches just overcomplicate things. They're trying too hard to copy from others. Just they're trying to work with funnels, the landing pages, all of the things that you really don't need to have, because at the end of the day, this is what I always emphasize. It's a very heavy like relationship service based business. So it's a lot about you connecting with people, right? You operate from a place of genuinely wanting to know more about the person, right? Understand their situation, what they're going through, and just giving them advice that is really helpful for them without coming across like too salesy. You don't want to be too salesy, right? You can hold them accountable to their goals, hold them accountable to the BS that they're giving you, right? And that helps a lot with, again, showing people that you care, because you're keeping it real with them. You're anchoring it to your truth, right? Everything you talk about in the DMs is anchored to the truth. No matter how much they talk about themselves, no matter how much positive they talk about themselves, because that's one thing I realized about fitness audience is that if you ask them how has their fitness journey been, oh, it's been good, oh, I've been eating clean most of the time. Oh, I've been eating 80% clean. And you can just call them out like 80% clean. You want to get to your goals, right? You know you have a physique goal that you just always want to have. You want to shred down. You want to be lean at like 10% body fat. You're never going to get to 10% body fat by eating 80% clean. These are the things that you can just call them out on, just on the spot, just tell them straight up. And this is just an example for Denzo's specific way of coaching. Okay, so again, everybody has different. I know some people are like, oh, you want to enjoy life, or also, training efficiently, which is what my one of my other clients, Miles, does. So it all depends on how you portray yourself in the content, how you convey yourself through content is how you want to convey yourself in the DMs, right? It has to be congruent. And that's the most important thing. You have to be so congruent when it comes to your personal brand and your DMs, right? Sales calls and everything. Everything has to just feel like one congruent person. And yeah, just to show you a little bit more on the type of results that I've gotten for people, right? Just to build more trust with you, to show you that I do have experience and I know what I'm talking about. I've helped Ben scale from literal $0, right, when he just started. Like this was him posting content for a month and a half back when he had around 12K followers, right? I scaled him up to 72.8K cash collected in just 10 months time, right? And our third month, we hit 9,385, and our fourth month of working together, we hit 10K. A lot of it came from just me operating from a place of genuineness, right? Wanting to connect with people. And same thing with Miles, right? For Miles, he has been posting content for like 6 years, but he's posting a lot of influencer content where there's no messaging. There's not really a group of people that is targeting. and there's no clear offer also on how he's helping people, right? From him making just like $500 to a K a month, right? Dealing with a lot of kids and unqualified people, we actually cash collected 9K in just the past 1.5 months of working together. And the concept is still the same. A lot of it is just really wanting to connect with the people that is in our audience, right? I know it sounds so simple, right? But there is ways to facilitate that. There's definitely ways to do that. But at the end of the day, that is just the place that you want to operate from. Okay, and I cannot emphasize this enough. Fitness coaching isn't as complicated as you think. You just need to have the right approach when it comes to not just content, but also your DMs. How can you position your offer in a way where people are like, okay, this is for me, man. Like this person is specifically speaking to my problems and he's really, the right person for me. These are the little things that you just want to at least be more conscious of. And to sum it all up, these are the things that essentially helped Denzel, right? For him to be able to go from just 2K a month back in November, right, to getting $20,700 into his business in just 5 weeks' time. That is someone's like 5 months worth of income at a full-time job. We gotten that in just 5 weeks' time. So the last thing that I want to say is that I'm truly here to help you fitness coaches out with your coaching business. I want you guys to thrive and I want you guys to hit your big months and to just go full-time with fitness coaching, right? This is something that's so impactful to the world. And I want to be a part of that. I want to facilitate and just change the whole online coaching space in a way where it's just more authentic, right? It's so authentic when everything you do is coming from a place of wanting to get people results, wanting to help others, right? And anchoring everything to the truth so that people just understand that you are a real person, right? You are being real with them. You're not trying to bullshit them. You're not trying to sell them much, right? You are just trying to change their lives. And when you can do that, the money will follow you and the money will genuinely follow you. And you do need the right approach. You need to understand how you want to make content, on what different perspective you want to have when you are making your pieces of content. So yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like learned something and really found a lot of source, found a lot of value in this. And drop a comment down below. Tell me what you find most valuable in, and I'll just log back in and try to get more crazier and crazier results and better case studies for you guys, and just share everything with you so that you yourself can take and just improve and implement it into your own coaching business. But yeah, any questions? Right, hit me down below in the DMs. Right, my Instagram handle is below. But other than that, enjoy your day. Peace.